The realm of human creativity is an incredibly vast and diverse world. To say it is limited to one thing or a collection of small niches belonging to a group is frankly insulting to say the least. There is no one definition of creativity, no singular, simple answer to how inspiration dawns on people or comes around in the first place. How all that makes sense is I heard about Zenshu from my friends, and at first I didn't think much about it. I thought it was like a few other anime I've seen before, but boy was I wrong. And for once, I'm glad I listened to my gut feeling and didn't sleep on this anime. I'm Mr. J, and Zenshu helped me broaden my understanding of loving what you make and making what you love. The long and short of Zenshu's plot is that Natsuko Hirose, a prodigious animator and director, succumbs to food poisoning and is transported to another world. It's not the strangest premise to kick off an isekai by a long shot. Imagine being the guy that got in a vending machine accident. Finding herself in the world of her favorite childhood movie, A Tale of Perishing, and then coming face to face with the protagonists of the hero group, the Nine Soldiers, in a not-so-pleasant manner, as they thought Natsuko looked like a gremlin, and who can blame them? She has a minor uphill battle trying to convince the Four of the impending doom. The Void is approaching soon. When the situation gets sour and the Void closes in, Natsuko changes the outcome with her magic pegboard, animating an entity to combat these creatures of darkness. The rest of the anime is then Natsuko working together with the remaining heroes of the Nine Soldiers, Luke Braveheart, Memeln, Unio, and QJ to hold back the Void and to stop them from smashing the crystal atop their city, the last of the Soul Futures, which will summon the ultimate void, destroying the world of A Tale of Perishing. If you want to know more, watch Zenshu afterward, because while I'm going to be talking about some of the goings-on in the anime, it's best if you watch it for yourself. I suppose what caught my attention in the beginning is that Natsuko wasn't some unrealistic beauty, the interchangeable, overpowered self-insert, or a protagonist that has the personality of a wet sheet of drywall. Natsuko at the beginning of her journey is a stuck-up, distant, and closed-off little gremlin. The only power she has is summoning an animator's table with her pegboard at certain times, which also won't let her redraw a previously done item, and is out like a light for 3 days when the animation is done. While it's a 12-episode journey from the perspective I witnessed it from, it was Natsuko learning to humble herself, realize that she doesn't need to do everything alone, and to open her eyes and open her heart up to those that she loves, that made me enjoy her character even more. The anime also dives into a few topics that helped to broaden my understanding of expression even more. There are times where the creations of others we witness inspire us to take up a cause, to gain the courage to stand by a goal we have, or simply achieve a dream that flooded into our heart. In episode 3, the mayor's daughter, Destiny Heartwarming, catches the fight between a Mantis Void and Natsuko's Serval Cat mask animation, and it ignites a passion to start an orphanage on her own, donning homage to Serval Cat Mask in her quest to help the disowned and lost kids of Last Town. It may seem silly to you, but that's how a lot of dreams start out, or how a lot of ideas bloom. We see something, someone, or somewhere that sparks an intangible force in us. Whether it's confidence, inspiration, love, anything. And it rapidly grows into something that drives us to do the things we do. Other times, those same creations can help us in our time of need. A time of grief, or sorrow, or simply a lifeline to hold on to in an unending sea of pain, heartbreak, or loneliness. Episode 4 hits home in that regard with Memeln. Without getting too into the plot, and however you wish to take my words here, she essentially wants to end it all. As Memeln says in the story herself, being an elf, she's practically immortal, meaning she'll build friendships, watch the world grow and change, and then watch as those people grow old and perish, and the old world crumbling away to make way for the new. She wants to end it because there's nothing to live for, nothing tangible and long-lasting enough to keep her heart from sinking into depression. Natsuko brings a light into her life in the form of a Vocaloid from an anime she worked on dubbed Sir Exister. So she has something permanent, some light in her life to keep her going. For some people out there, a fictional character can keep a person from completely losing their gourd and going full on crazy. There are a lot of reasons for people to hang on to stories, are drawn to artwork and animation, or go over their favorite media again and again. Zenshu as a whole also showcases the negative aspects of life. You see, there is no good ending in reality, only our continued finite existence until the sweet embrace of death comes to take us away. We're creatures perpetually making, consuming, creating, destroying, questioning, and discovering things, always trying to find an answer to why we exist, or what's the point, and that's why the realm of fiction is so tantalizing at times. There's a solid beginning, middle, and end to various types and pieces of media. There's a goal to achieve, a character to follow a journey on, or a world to discover. But when it's over, people tend to get lost. We get skittish, make things up, stir the pot, or stew for an extended period of time because we want more. We want a story to ease our troubles and to put our worries to rest. It's like what the prophet Baobab said to Natsuko. The Tale of the Nine Stories is just what it is. A story. A story meant to placate the fears and depravity dwelling within the denizens of Last Town. And who can blame them? When crapola hits the fan big time, or the world is going to hell, people tend to regress, lose themselves in their basest desires, and go mad as their world and way of life unravels around them. And sometimes it hurts watching as it feels like things are hopeless, or there's no chance that things will change. Starting from episode 4 and onward, Natsuko is followed around by the director of A Tale of Perishing, Kamataro Tsuruyama, who arrived the same way Natsuko did, albeit reincarnating as a bird, and she constantly berates Natsuko for mucking up her film, changing how the key events of A Tale of Perishing plays out, telling her it's useless to change anything here, because the story will revert back to make sure the events of the movie still come to fruition. That doubt grows and grows as the story moves forward, and while it doesn't impact her at first, it all comes to a head in episode 9 when Natsuko hesitates and shuts down in the following episode. And in episode 10, the events of A Tale of Perishing start folding back into place, and everything Natsuko has changed, the future she brought about, begins to slip away. She watches helplessly as her friends slip back into what the story had them become, in order for the ultimate void to arrive. And with the final arrival of the voids, Natsuko tries her best with one last-ditch effort to save as many people as she can before ultimately being sucked up by them. However, that's where Zenshu shines its brightest, showing that everything that ignited Natsuko's love for animation started with A Tale of Perishing. I won't spoil the ending, so I hope the thoughts I share continuing forward until the end convey how good I felt the ending was. There are times in the creative sphere where everyone feels depressed, at their breaking point, downtrodden, or simply stuck in places life moves by. The doubts that plague us, the fears of inadequacy, the nagging voices in our head telling us, give up, or it's no use. For some people out there, it's easy. Resigning to failure, losing hope, sacrificing a vision, taking the quickest options, or foregoing effort and practice by relying on shortcuts and crutches. And for those outside observers looking into the realm of art or a dedicated craft, it doesn't take a lot to put others down. It's easy to get filled with vitriol, hate, ignorance, and malice towards the work of someone else. To unfairly harass, berate someone for not getting the work done on time, or simply belittling the person whose work they don't understand the process of, and harshly and mindlessly criticize what they put in their heart and soul into. It can all come to a head when the self-planted seeds of doubt grab hold of everything and drag us down. And sometimes the toughest part in all of this is remembering where it all began. What inspired you? What took your senses on an unforgettable journey? What ignited that spark in you that made you who you are today? In my case, I didn't get started writing down my ideas and learning how to draw until a few years ago. I always thought until my late teen years in high school that someone would ask me about my ideas, and I'd get some golden opportunity and ride it all the way to the top. It wasn't until my brother gave me the insight to start chipping away that facade that I began indulging in different kinds of media and learning about them so I could create things of my own. And eventually one day, the thought crossed my mind of, what am I going to do that is different from the countless YouTubers who complain about animation or video games, but never stand to make something of their own? My answer was simple. Learn. Understand the art, the intent, the work, the effort, and anything and everything I could comprehend in my own way. There are times where I wish I could redo everything or fix it all in a franchise or game that lit up my world when I was younger, and I still have those dreams, because if I don't hold on to them and let them guide my intentions, well then they won't come true. And yeah, I'm not like my favorite characters. I'm Mr. J. I love mechs, I love Super Sentai, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I love cyberpunk, I love technology, I love all the goofy, cool, weird Cronenbergian horror stuff that can be involved in that. There's just a lot that you can parse through, and a lot that I could probably say for another half hour that I really love in the industry, but that's what I really want to do, and that's what I want to add to the sphere of entertainment. That's the kind of stuff I love, and that's the kind of stuff I want to make. And while I can't do all the fantastical things these guys can, I can write and draw in my spare time, chip away at making my dreams a reality. Because if I don't keep that fire lit, let it grow, and stoke a spark in someone else, then nobody else will. I'm glad my friend group convinced me to watch Zenshu. The animation team killed it. The character arc for Natsuko is short, sweet, but straight to the point, and the self-contained story was incredibly impactful. Sometimes 12-episode animes blow because it's either a good idea that ended too early for numerous reasons, the manga or light novel has loads more content, but the studio it was given to choked on execution, or it's a crappy isekai given a 12-episode anime in an attempt to draw in readers. And frankly, I'm glad it was none of those three. There could have been 100 issues that sprung up and caused Zenshu to turn out like a pile of hot dog logs, but it didn't. It's one of those situations where the scope of the project was reasonable, and it didn't sequel bait the audience. I will not deny there is the whole drama surrounding the irony of MAPPA making an anime about caring for animators when, as a whole, the entertainment industry of Japan, much like the rest of the world to a degree, has the problem of overworking, underpaying, and leaving their animators out to dry when the going gets tough. It's especially ironic for MAPPA because while the studio has some heavy hitters under their belt, what I've been told by a few friends and family, and in my research as well, is that MAPPA tends to take on way too many projects and put way too much stress on their animators to get their projects done. Does this mean I hate it, or my opinions of Zenshu are lessened? No. It's separating art from the artist. It just means that while I have a broad handle on the situation, I'm still able to appreciate what the team produced without letting it blindly cloud my judgment or warp my opinions. There is one more thing I'd like to say. Since the last time I made a video talking about an isekai, I had a discussion with my friend Insignios and realized I came off sounding like Nux Taku.
If you're going to have a moral panic or some weird beef with fictional boobs, do it somewhere else, you wet, disintegrating loaf of bread of a human being. I have an isekai to talk about, so good day.
Yeah, I know, not one of my prouder moments. It's a learning experience. It's one I wish didn't happen, but hey, sometimes you have to be the loser and get eggshells in your omelet to learn, and there's no way around it except understanding that and being more conscious of my desensitization the next time around. That said, I have a thing I cooked up for future videos with fan service. Introducing the number of videos without fan service, as determined by me, my tastes, expectations, and personal quota of fan service, counter. And it's already at 0. How? It's not Serval Cat Destiny. I love the buff cosplay wrestler look, but my gut is telling me it would be more appropriate for my 17-year-old self to oogle over her. And while my boy Justice over here is making the latent bisexual urges in me bubble up, he's not it. Wait, the bartender Naomi from A Tale of Perishing. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. And you know what? I'll admit it. I like furry women. Look, for brevity's sake right now, there's just something about a couple decades age or vintage wine wrapped in a soft coat of fur that lights up all the neurons in my brain like a Christmas tree. I will die on this hill, and I will not back down from this matter. I've had to wade through countless hours of garbage isekai with beast men either being men and women with very few animalistic features, or fully anthropomorphic men, and then women with just animal ears and a tail or fuzzy limbs. There are a few anime out there that cater to my specific desires, but they are far and few between. If you become inspired by something, and it drives you to begin drawing or writing yourself, so you can one day have it appear on TV or the big screen, do it. If you can't for the life of you draw or write, then help from whatever supporting or direct role you can do. Not everyone is cut out to be in stardom or entertainment. But that doesn't mean you can't help the people who work their hardest to make the things you love, whether the gesture is big or small, to help them keep on producing the content and projects they make. I'm Mr. J, and mature fox women for life.